Well, good morning, everybody. It is official. We're getting our property tour started. We do these property tours every Saturday morning. My name is Scott Buckholz. I am your host. We have Yas Hawk on our co-host. We love doing these Zoom property tours as we're a national community of investors who love to share, who love to help others out. We love to grow and build our businesses. We have a great education platform that we all learn from, and it's just an amazing community of investors. I've been involved with the community for over 8 years now. And yeah, I would not be able to do what I do today, not only in my real estate investing business, but my business in general without this community. And we love doing these tours every Saturday because as a community of investors, we have investors all over this country doing deals on a daily basis. And today we're going to be in Virginia, and we have a great property tour in store for you. And we'll be sharing a fix and hold. You guys will see the flyer that we have on there right now. Um, but as we go along today, please ask some questions. We won't, if there's a ton of questions, we won't be able to get to all of them. And if you got any questions about the numbers and things like that, Chris and Micaela, they'll share those toward the end. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and stop the screen share and bring Chris and his lovely wife out. There they are. There they are. There's the smiles in the morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Well, guys, we were talking earlier. First of all, thank you very much for taking time out of your day and sharing your story and sharing what you're doing in real estate investing and just basically giving back. And because today we're going to have guests on that don't know you guys, okay? They've never heard your story. They're maybe learning, maybe this is the first time they've ever experienced anything about our community, and they're here to kind of figure things out. Maybe they've done a deal before, maybe they've got a rental property, maybe they've done a flip, whatever it might be. Maybe they have a short-term or a couple short-term rentals, and they heard about our community and they want to grow their business. And they want to be with like-minded people. And so if we could you guys kind of kick off and share a little bit about your story, who you guys are, kind of what you've been doing in your background, like in your life, and then leading up to how you came across real estate investing? Like, what was it, Chris? Or, yeah, like, did you read a book, or did you go to a seminar, or did you come to a property tour like this? What was it that kind of really got you intrigued and said, hey, I want to try this or get involved in real estate investing? And one last thing that's always really important for everybody on is how you found the community and what was the deciding factor. Like, I want to be a part of that community. I want to plug in. I want to start going to these events and start learning and doing all the education and training. So if either one of you guys want to start off and kick off and kind of share a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, well, good morning. Thanks for having us. We're happy to be able to share what we've got going on here in the real estate. Um, my history, I was an electrician. I am an electrician. Once an electrician, never, you will never stop being one. Since I was 13, so I grew up in the trades, and well, maybe about 10 years ago, I realized that I couldn't beat up my body forever. And roundabout then is when Micaela and I were dating. And this is my lovely wife, Micaela. Say hi.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so I guess that's when we will start talking about having a family and retirement plans, what we're gonna do. And I guess both of us kind of had this in common that we like to do the real estate investment part of it. So, and we start looking for seminars. We went to seminars in different locations, and finally we found Renata's. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to those cheapy weekend boot camps that, you think you're going to get everything you need for, $200 or for free or whatnot. But really all it is a 2-day sales seminar. So, but we were sold in the idea because you don't know what you don't know. And, in that 2-day seminar, we looked at each other and said, when we have kids, we're not going to save money for college. We're going to buy this, for our kids. And we kept shopping and we shopped everybody. And then we found Renatus via a road sign and local community with local investors. And when we plugged in and saw everything that the local community and the national community had to offer, we were like, this is it. This is the education for our children, but we can use it for ourselves now, right? So
and it's local. Like I think it was very important that it was local and that we could have a point of contact, like face to face. We know that person is also local, and we can just be plugged in. So that was very important for us.
not a bunch of salesmen, high-fiving at the bar at the end of the day. Hey, I got 15. Hey, I got 7. This was real people. Like we came back to the meetings again and again and again every week. For 4 weeks, I wanted to make sure that they weren't just walking away. So that's that. So, since then, I'm no longer an electrician, clocking in and clocking out. But I did do all the electric, and I had a helper help me with the electric here at this property.
That's awesome. So, Micaela, what kind of work were you doing beforehand, or are doing currently? What can you tell a little bit about that?
Yes. So I'm still working full time. I'm in the IT field. I just so basically I'm a system analyst right now, and yeah, full time. And now when I can on the weekends, I come and help with the property or things like that. Yeah, and hopefully, eventually, I guess later, if the business picks up, so we can retire and start doing this full time. It is a struggle, like having a full time job and having Chris at the property, knowing that he needs help and I can't be here. Like there were days I was like, okay, I guess I'm taking off today. I'm just gonna come and help, but we can't do that sometimes. But yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, so you have a goal to be able to free yourself up from it sounds like Chris has already been able to step away from being a full-time electrician, and your goal is to be able to do the same thing as well.
Ideally, yes. And then, with my career, I'm also learning that I can find more flexible jobs in the IT field. So hopefully I can combine the part-time IT with more hands-on with the real estate. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Somebody said that, most millionaires have real estate in their portfolio in one way or another.
Hmm.
And then somebody else said, why go to work for 8 hours a day to pay somebody else when you can have somebody else going to work 8 hours to pay you? Yeah, that's much better. I like that much better.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So today you've got a property you're going to share with us. That's a fix and hold property, correct? You guys are holding on to the property?
Yes, that is the plan.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yep.
Which is a fantastic strategy. A lot of people are really focused on holding properties, long-term assets, using them for short-term, mid-term, long-term rentals, but able to create that passive income, that monthly income, and obviously to build value in their property itself, the equity in the property. So have you guys done other strategies besides the fix and hold? Have you done flips as well? Do you have any Can you maybe talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so I manage 2 rental doors currently. So this will be my third rental in the portfolio to manage. In the past, I did 5 flips as a team effort. where through the community, we found each other, we got together and said, hey, a flip is a lot of work. And none of us, us all being new, none of us can just do it all by ourselves. So we broke it down, and so we said, one person, you're in charge of the funding. Other person, you're in charge of the contractor and picking out the finishes. And me, I was the project manager, which means I had to be on site almost every day to make sure that the contractors showed up and that a chimney didn't fall through the roof. And then we had the staging and selling coordinator. So we had 5 members for each of the flips that I did in the past. And it was successful, and it was learning a lot, and we could look over each other's shoulder and ask questions. It was wonderful. And I wouldn't have been able to do those if I didn't have the community where we could trust and rely on each other. And so since then, this is our first deal alone, which that adds its own a little scare to it, anxiety to it, but we got through it. So the negotiating private money, that was a surprise to me because I wasn't in charge of the money in the last 5. But I'm grateful that I got the education and the knowledge of private money, hard money, negotiation skills, of the vocabulary, because we were able to negotiate pretty hard. And I was able to share with my private money lender what my goal is. And I was able to negotiate a multi-exit strategy, not just for the exit strategy of the house, but multi-exit strategy on the money too. Yeah.
So yeah,
Awesome.
he's very knowledgeable, and he took the classes. So he knew, or we knew what we're talking about. So that's very important.
In the whole self-development part, you have to get to know yourself. And I know myself now that I'm very risk intolerant. I do not tolerate risk very well. So having multiple strategies was very key to me jumping in by my, and putting our family on the line.
Well, Chris, I'm so glad you kind of really covered that subject a little bit as far as having the knowledge and the know-how on how to have that conversation, how to negotiate, how to work through and structure something. I remember when you and I mentioned this last property tour. I remember when you and I first met at the national conference, and I still have that picture. I still have I still have that text thread from that national conference where we met. We exchanged phone numbers, and we've got something to eat. I can't. It was just a great experience for me. But when we first met, I had the mindset, like so many people do, is that, am I going to be able to do this? Am I, I keep hearing all this doing real estate without using my own money and my own credit. And I hear it's happening, but I'm not sure I believe it. And so when I went to that national conference of all those investors that were there in our community, and I met you, you were like one of the very first people I met there at the conference. And I had no clue even how to start to have a conversation with someone about private lending. And gosh, when I look at where I'm at today and how much I've learned from our education and how to structure those conversations, and how much I've learned, and you mentioned it earlier, I love it, from the community. That's so key. Just talking to people that have done this business, talking to people that have been successful, talking to people that have had trials and tribulations along the way, and learning from that, like our instructors, right? And so again, thank you for that first meeting. I'm very appreciative that we met and that we, stayed in contact, that type of thing. And and I look at where we've grown both of us have grown our businesses. And so this property, Chris, did it just kind of fall in your lap, or did you guys find it through a community member, or did you find it from Craigslist? Can you talk a little bit about how you found this deal and how you kind of structured and put it together?
Yeah. You know, I found it via road sign. I I put up road signs for about a year, and very low hits. But all of a sudden, this lady calls and she's ready to get rid of this house. And so I jumped right on it, when can I visit you? Today, and I'll visit you tomorrow, whatever. But so that's how I got it. Road signs. She called, I answered. Thank goodness I answered that one. And we sat down, and she was ready to say, thanks for the info. I'll call you in a couple days. Um, but I went ahead and I used some of my negotiating training, and I said, all right, that's great. Let's just go through the paperwork so that I can answer any questions today, and you can think it over, until you call me. I used my negotiating strategies. We went through all the paperwork, and at the end of it, she was like, quiet, and there's a negotiating skill of the first one to talk is the loser. So I went ahead and I just shut my mouth, and she eventually talked herself into it, and I said, okay, well, here's the pen. So, but if I didn't have the 20 negotiating strategies training, then I would have gotten up and walked away. So yeah, road sign, and it doesn't happen overnight. It took 11 months, but I stuck in it, and it happened. And so now we're almost done with the flip. Well, with the rehab. We were like 98% finished until we had this big rain 2 weeks ago on Monday and Tuesday, which developed a rain leak around the chimney. And so I had to rip open that wall because I wanted to be thorough, make sure that I got everything. And so today, after this meeting, Micaela and I will be painting the wall, and I'll show you that room.
Awesome. So where is this property actually located again? What city?
This is Fredericksburg, Virginia, Spotsylvania County. We're right in the middle between Richmond and Washington, D.C.
Well, I think you probably should get your car on the phone and have him come over and help you paint. Have a paint party.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know he's on today. Um, so again, you guys acquired this property. Give us some kind of a time frame when you went into it. You negotiated this deal. You were able to come up with an agreeable price that was good for her and good for you, because as we learned in negotiations as well, it needs to be a win-win situation for all our parties. And if one party is the only one that's winning in the deal, it's typically not that good of a deal. So you were able to negotiate. You came up with something that was recognizable by her. She agreed to it. What was your plan as far as funding? You mentioned either earlier private lending, and did you have a goal like we're going to execute and have this completed within so many months, things like that? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, with the fix and flip training and the rehab training that I received in the community, I had a couple days to crunch the numbers before our meeting. And so I crunched the numbers every which way without being able to see the property. And I estimated, this much rehab, that much rehab, this much rehab, that much rehab, so that I knew my numbers come the meeting. And so as we walked it, because of the rehab training, I was able to say, all right, well, these windows are good, these windows are bad, $500 here, $2,000 there, da 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 da. Ask questions. Why do we have so many window air conditioners? You know, it helped me build up my budget. So when I sat down with her, I knew my numbers because I did multiple Excel spreadsheets with my education. And, you know, I was able to look her in the eye and say, you know, I know my numbers. You know, you showed me around. This is what I can buy it for. And yeah, the rest is history, right? Once I got it under contract, that's when I started really negotiating the money terms because in my numbers I worked with the worst case scenario, and I was able to, yeah.
So when you put this under contract, that's when you went to work on locating and securing funding, correct?
Yep. Yep.
And you'd mentioned earlier you're able to use private money. Is that correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that turned out to be the preferred way.
Awesome. Awesome. I know that's something that's very popular and it's really a great way. There's so many people that would like to be involved in deals, but they don't have time or knowledge or skill set, but they might have the funding available. And so being able to use private lending really helps build that relationship. I mean, I don't know if this private lender was your first time you've worked with this individual, but a lot of times that can turn into repeat business because you execute at what you do. Your private lender receives a fair return. And I know we're going to get into the numbers here pretty soon, but you guys have a nice little tour that you're going to give us of the property as well.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I was introduced to my private lender via the community.
That happens a lot. It happens a lot. So, again, there's a lot of people out there that want to be involved in real estate investing, but because of their family life, because of commitments with work and time restraints and skill, they don't have the skill set or the knowledge yet. They'd like to gain it, but hey, you know, I do have some money sitting here or there, and I'd like to be involved in the deal. So, and how many months did you budget once you kind of figured out you already kind of had an idea of your rehab or your we'll call it a renovation budget,
Yeah.
your renovation budget. And how many months did you set in place that you're like, hey, look, we're going to have this executed within this much time?
So I was budgeting as multiple exit strategy. So I
Hmm.
was budgeting for it to be a flip at the 5 month period. Best case scenario, 4 month period. And I was hoping that I would be able to finish the rehab by Christmas, but I chose to do the majority of work myself, and one man can only do so much, man hour wise. Um, I am grateful that I was able to have a contracting crew of like 6 come in here and do drywall and paint. And boy, 6 people can do so much work in 2 days that would have taken me probably 2 weeks.
Oh, easily, easily.
Yep. I also brought in friends to help me with the flooring and the contractor too. Um, but yeah, I laid a lot of the floor myself.
Yeah, that's a learning experience in itself. So Chris, you guys put it under contract. You were looking at about 5 months to complete
Yeah.
at the max. We'll put, it's at the dead drop spot or whatever you want to call it. And you had your budget in mind. You went to work on this, and you initially thought flip. Now you're going to hold on to the property. What about what things did you look at? What criteria did you evaluate as far as determining, hey, this is going to be a good rental property? This is going to be a property I want to hold on to. Was it the community? Was it the driving distance to certain places? Was it maybe hospitals? What or schools or whatever? What was the determining thing for you? Because we all learn from our education, it is so important to understand who are end customers, who's going to live in this house. That's not something you want to figure out at the end, is it, Chris? You want to know that ahead of time.
Yeah, so the initial goal was traveling nurses. I call it midterm rentals because it's 30 to 90 days. So I don't want to call that short term. I feel like short term is only a few days to a week. So I call
Absolutely.
it midterm in my head. We have Mary Washington Hospital here in Fredericksburg. We've got the whole array of specialty treatments. And we are about an hour away from Northern Virginia, a little less than an hour from Richmond. So we have a lot of nursing and medical facilities. There's a Mary Washington College as well. So for midterm rentals, that's what I was looking at. Long-term rentals or regular conventional rentals are very strong here too. So I could do that. And I looked at the sales if I needed to liquidate. And so I made sure that my purchase price, budget, money costs, everything was in line so that I could exit any which way.
That's
So
awesome.
when
That's
I looked
awesome.
at
That's
the numbers and I looked her in the eye and I said, I can buy it for, 215. And she said, well, that's great because the payoff balance is 205. So it worked out for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So having those multiple exit strategies is very key. We learn that from our education, and it just gives you more flexibility. It gives you, because we talked earlier before we started our call, and then you shared a little bit about the leak that you had that popped out of nowhere, and something you couldn't even see caused a potential problem, or something that arose that you weren't planning. And in this business, you know, things come up. Okay. No matter how good you are, or how knowledgeable you are, there are things that are going to happen on a project, whether it's a flip, whether it's a small a fairly small renovation to a large renovation. Things are going to happen. And what we learn is we want to minimize that. We want to keep that you know, basically scale down so we don't have large, what I call oops. I know in my budget, I always have what I call an oops factor or a contingency factor figured in,
Yep.
and in case things arise that we did not see. And so that's awesome that you guys, I mean, again, you're adding to your portfolio. You in the very beginning, you established who your end customer would be, and who, or a group of end customers could be, whether it's long term, midterm. And so you got started on the project. You looked at 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, when you acquired the property, uh, can you tell a little bit about how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms? Did you change that layout any? I know you're getting ready, Micaela. We're going to walk through right here in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Originally it was a 4 bedroom, and it still is a 4 bedroom. It was 2.5 bath, and we can show you some pictures, I believe, of where it was bathrooms upstairs. The half bath is downstairs where it was weird. It was shared laundry, toilet, and sink.
Hmm.
Very strange half bathroom with the water heater right in the middle. So I should be able to show you a picture of it. But what we did is we moved the water heater over into the corner. I stacked the washer and dryer, and I used the existing floor drain to put in a shower and put up a wall, moved the door, and now we got a full 3 bathrooms in this house.
Awesome. Awesome. So you have a few pictures to show beforehand, and then we'll see what it looks like now live, right?
Yeah,
You want to go ahead and share your screen?
yeah. How do we do that?
Yes, let's have the IT expert handle that, Chris.
That's right.
I don't know if we have updated pictures, but
But we're gonna do a walkthrough.
yeah.
Yeah, just if we could see the pictures of
Is that
beforehand.
showing? So this is what the house looked like before. And on the flyer, you saw the after. So you can see it's a jungle, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had poison ivy growing up the wall there. So, and you saw the flyer, so it looks 1,000 times better. And there's the family. This is my why. We already talked about that. So we found the roof was bad. What's it called? Trash bag was covering up a hole created by the satellite dish people. So way to go, satellite dish people. You cost me a new roof. Let's see here. Here's some pictures. So you can see we got a window unit in the top left picture. That was bedroom number 3, I'm going to call it. The picture on the top right, you can see the fascia board has been rotted out. I would recommend when you are buying a house and the gutters have never been cleaned, go ahead and budget to replace all the fascia board, because as soon as I put a little wiggle to that gutter, it fell right down, and which means the fascia board where the nails for going into it is completely rotted out. So put that in your budget. Nobody ever expects to put that in their budget.
I did want to mention real quick, excuse me, real quick, Chris. If you're on a mobile device, guys, you guys can pinch out and make it much larger so you can see these 4 quadrants if you want to kind of zoom in a little bit.
And then the bottom left is a picture of me rolling back the carpet that in the dining room where I'm sitting currently. She had never cleaned the gutters, and the gutters had run off and wore a hole in that corner of the wall. I had to pay a contractor to jack up that corner. He jacked it up, I think he said 1 inch and 5/8, and he replaced the 2x12s in that corner. I had him completely replace the sliding door and sister up the joists underneath as well. There you go. And see that gaping hole in the bottom right and the top right? That was the corner that we had to replace.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's where the deck was too. So there was like 10 inches of leaves and all kinds of stuff. That's why you got that green growth. Over on the left, you can see the original kitchen. Yep, and here soon I'm going to show you the new. So yeah, that was a fun project. But you know what? That shows just because it's really bad, it looks really bad, doesn't mean it's not repairable. I'm of the opinion that everything is fixable given the right investment. And the contractor was able to fix that in what? One day, one full day. And yeah, 2 days, including the siding. He was done. So 2 days of labor and that corner was fixed. So.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment. Mercedes said that they might have walked, that looked bad, so they may have just walked away from the deal. And so many people, a lot of times, they look at things. And again, that's where the training and the knowledge and the experience comes in. And is that, hey, it may look, but it's really, in every situation, it doesn't mean it's a huge expense. And how long was the entire process? They had budgeted 5 months for that. And you guys started, when did you acquire this?
Well,
Was
we
that
bought
in
it in October, mid-October, and here it is, the end of January. So we're right on track to put tenants in place, you know. Here's the next
awesome?
thing. It was a Federal Pacific electrical panel. Federal Pacific is known for creating fires. They don't turn off when they're supposed to, so I budgeted for that. The middle picture, I took down every single wall in the living space. This is a 1970s split. I think zooming in doesn't zoom in for them. I don't know. The mid one is 1970s split level. So it had walls for the dining room, walls for the kitchen, walls for the foyer. So I took them all down because everybody wants the open concept now, right? So we had a demo party. I invited the community. We had what, I don't know, 10, 15 people with sledgehammers and pry bars and music and pizza. And we just went to town on these walls.
Nice. Now, did any of those walls, were they bearing walls?
Yes, two were, which is, oh, you probably don't see my camera right now, but I'll show you the beam when we walk through. And then the last picture is me is us taking out the shower and bathroom surround and updating that little plumbing stuff.
Sure. So is Micaela going to take us through the house?
Yeah. We can do that now. If you want to make her host, I can mute the laptop and we can move to the phone.
Yep, she's all ready to share if you want to stop sharing. So while they're getting that set up, everybody, if you're a guest on today and you'd like to learn more about our community, about the education, about a lot of the things that Chris and Michaela have been talking about, right after today's property tour, at about 5 minutes after the top of the hour, we have on a different Zoom link where you can actually plug in to basically an overview or an introduction to our community and to the education that Chris and Michaela have referred to. And that's at a different link. So send a text to the person who invited you, and they'll get you set up, and you guys can jump on that and learn a lot more about all the different things. So let's go ahead and see if Michaela's sharing.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can, and we can see Chris.
All right. So
I'm standing in the dining room. You can see this is the same light picture as the picture. That's the one thing we kept. But as we pan this way, you'll see we have no wall, and we can see the beam with the post. You see the cabinets there. The majority of those cabinets in the corner are the original. But since we took the wall out, we decided to continue the cabinets right here. So this is an original cabinet. These are new, so that we could use this countertop space under the window that was already existing. And as you can see, we kept the layout the same for budgeting, but I painted the cabinets, which is a lot of work.
buy new ones next time.
Yeah, next time, now I understand when people buy new cabinets instead of painting. But the countertops we got for $2,000, was fully installed. And then if you pan over here to the island, I got these cabinets from Habitat for Humanity, secondhand store. And this granite countertop I got off of Facebook Marketplace for $100. So
Very nice.
Big open
Space, you can see.
the way people want to see it now. So then we walk over to the living room, right? We have it open because I turned it back into a construction site. Nice big open space. If you would come this way so that they can see the island. My contractor recommended to bring the flooring up the island so that it's kind of like a waterfall style. And
that's very unique.
Yeah.
So
see,
yeah.
One of the bearing.
So yeah, this is the beam we put in, and that post is it has a spot in my heart because I did that post myself. The drywallers that I mentioned spent all weekend here. They wanted to wrap it in drywall, but that 4x4 inside is from Home Depot, and therefore it's twisted. And so I wanted to make sure to wrap it and make it look square.
And pretty. Yeah, it was his project. Good job.
That's right.
Let me throw it, Chris, if I could throw a couple questions in here. We love to answer a few questions. when you did the removal of the walls and you did, you checked for load bearing and you used like what we call LVLs for support and all that, did you have an engineer? Did you have to get that approved by the city? Um,
So the
can you talk?
contractor I use, he has engineers within his firm. So they did the measuring inside the attic, they did the measuring in the crawl space, they took that back to their computer and they did the whole write-up. So their engineers on their team told my worker what beams to buy and provide and where to put them.
So you did have an engineer involved in it, and um, another good question as far as insurance goes. Someone's asking, did you acquire and purchase insurance when you bought the property in the beginning?
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything without it. I probably got more insurance than what other people get. I've had other investors say, really? Why'd you get so much? And I said, well, I just want to be covered.
Yeah.
But an extra $700 covers you a long way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's something that, I've talked to different investors, and sometimes they seem to skimp a little bit on that. And, the rule of thumb is, and I know what mine is when I acquire a property, I have insurance ready to go in place at the time of acquisition. Even if I'm not starting the rehab for a couple weeks, I have to be insured from day one, and because anything could happen, and you need to be covered there. So, good points. Keep going, Chris, if you would. Thank you for staying closer to the microphone. We can hear you better when you're close.
okay. Well, this is my last thing to do is the steps. You see, I've painted the fascia, but I haven't stained the step boards yet. We're going to go upstairs and show you the master bath.
It's construction now because the wall in the room. Okay, come in here. We close the bedroom.
So, Micaela, are you starting to stage it for a midterm rental?
Yes. It's almost done. I mean, it has been done, almost done.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
complete.
see that.
So this is the master ensuite.
This is the master.
The tile on the floor is original, and the grout line was really dark tan, dirty. So I found this grout pen that you can just go along the grout lines and it turns it white. So it looks great. Up here in this corner, yep, there's the vanity. Up here in this corner was the existing just 36-inch by 36-inch shower stall. And I said, well, that tiny little 36-inch shower stall is not the way that people like to see it nowadays. So we ripped that out and we went all the way across. So this guy is 6 feet all the way
Awesome.
across. And if anybody knows me, you got to have that soap dish. So that shower niche is very important.
Can we see a picture? Can we see a picture of the tile on the floor and in the shower again?
There's the tile on the floor.
Gotcha. Right? Love the pattern.
And this is Italian porcelain that I found on Facebook Marketplace. Got it for a steal. So yes, it's staged for short-term rental. We got the short-term rental classes that I crammed through and got the electronic door locks as recommended. This room is kind of a mess because I had to pull everything from the rehab room. But the curtains are up and the TV's up. You want to go see the other bath, or do you want to see the project room first?
We're getting close to the end of the hour, so We definitely want to leave some time for wrap up. We've got about 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, here's the project room. It used to be completely finished, but the chimney's right on the other side there. So that's all we needed to talk about in there. But as we are rehabbing, we should always keep in mind, the end result. So this has the similar wood grain tile with the white grout, and we have the matching soap dish. But this is the bathtub because it's a hallway, right? So yeah, all of these vanities I got from Facebook Marketplace, and we'll take you down to the basement right now. The class tells you should always have a place to stage your tools, so that's what that was. You can see the flooring is the same all throughout, right? So here's the basement. So this was that weird half bath laundry room. So you can see how I cut it out and I stacked the washer and dryer. I did move the door to where it is now. Now the toilet and the vanity, they're new, but same location. But to match the rest of match the master, I went ahead and used the same tile.
Looks wonderful. What a difference from you going from a half bath to a full bath like that.
Yeah. And I made sure to do a recessed light in every shower and a strong bath fan.
So if you're local, he can still do recess nights.
That's right. Yep.
Well, I know you guys have some toward
Go
the
ahead.
top of the hour here. Oh, I love it.
Yep, the house came with the what's it called, treadmill. So I figured for a short-term rental, I can stage this area as a what's it called, exercise room. I can buy one of those big yoga balls and just be like, okay, here's your exercise and a yoga mat. Speak up.
Oh no, for the staging, we tried to match everything in each room. We found out that it would be easier, but also, uniform. So we bought all the curtains green and some of the comforters green. So we tried to blend in with the gray flooring and the gray walls.
But because the short-term teacher told us that we got to have a spot of red, so we have a red toaster.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great. So do you guys need to go back up to your laptop to share numbers for everybody?
Sure.
Thank you for taking us through the house. What a transformation you guys have done with that.
Yeah. Thank you. It sure does look a lot better since the last time we met.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just gonna continue panning until she pulls it up. Looks like it's pulled up now, right?
She's getting there.
Okay.
There you go. So if you want to highlight those real quickly, and then we'll do a wrap-up summary for everybody, that'd be beautiful.
All right, so she's gonna mute her phone. So here are our original numbers. I bought it at the 215. Closing costs were just under 8. The rehab costs, that was my budget. And that's the cost of my money for the 6-month term. Closing costs, if I were to sell it, and break even point. So that's where it tells me where my budget, where, you know, where I start making money. So if I were to liquidate, I need to liquidate at my break even point or above. And that's again, if I was planning on flipping it. Cool. That was strategy number one.
So that was your flip. That was your
How do I go
strategy
to the
number
next
one,
slide?
that if you completed the
There.
deal
We can hear it.
and
Can you hear
did
me?
a flip. Yes, we
I
can.
can't
Go
hear.
ahead.
Yeah, okay. So this is strategy number two, you know, fix and hold. Now I have 4 bedrooms right now. If I get proof of concept for my midterm rental, I can put up a wall in the den where I was talking about the yoga mat and the exercise room, and I can make it 5. So that's why you see the 5 there.
Mhm.
So if I rented $1,000 per room, that's 5 grand. I guess it doesn't fill in.
No.
We got payments to the lender, we got cash flow, and then it runs out to annual. So if I was able to, what are you doing? So that's the plan. That's a small workup of numbers for if I get proof of concept and I rent $1,000 a room, there's my costs for my monthly, the utilities and whatnot. So then I could annually have a pretty decent additional income.
Okay.
She's clicking on stuff. All right, so key lessons to be learned, right? Don't just go willy-nilly, right? Gain experience and by, you know, teaming up with people that do know the lingo and, you know, how the contractors like to pull the wool over your eyes. Getting the community help that goes right in with it, because I probably wouldn't have had the backbone if I didn't have others around me. Yes.
Getting out of the comfort zone.
Pushing me out of my comfort zone. That's right. Because we don't like being chained to a desk, but boy, is it comfortable. Check that roof out thoroughly, you know, and the soffits and the, you know, what's it called? The trim board, because that was a surprise. I wish I didn't have to do it, but definitely learned from that. And, you know, having the education for multiple strategies is, was most important for me. And, I feel like it's dangerous to be a one-trick pony.
Yes.
And, when you are, if you are, you know, when you're doing your rehab, you might plan to keep it buy and hold. So you might be like, oh, well, I don't need to, you know, take down that wall. But you know what? Keep your options open. You know, you might keep it for a year, but then you might have an opportunity to sell it for more than you expected next year. So that's why I went ahead and I took down those walls. If I was only going to have one exit strategy, buy and hold, I probably wouldn't have removed these walls. But now that I did, I feel like I have more options. So those are my key points there.
Well, awesome, guys. We're really close to wrapping up. We like to get finished by the top of the hour, so I'd like to let. I know there's a lot of questions still coming in. Unfortunately, we can't get to all those questions, but we would like to have you wrap up with your final remarks for everybody on the line today on, you know, any golden nuggets or any kind of advice you'd like to give anybody that's on that's looking at getting a part of the community. And I'll start with Micaela. What would you like to wrap up with?
Like just chase after your dreams, and it's always good to be out of the comfort zone so you can accomplish what you want to do. And then if you're doing if this is their first deal, definitely talk to people that already have done the deal to keep being motivated. And in case of doubt, you just reach out to the community to get reassurance. And I think we've been blessed with that. We kept reaching out to some of the members of the community. They also been there for us, and we're blessed and thankful for that. So yeah, just if it makes sense, go for it, regardless how you feel. Just go and do it.
It's with the real estate investing, you might not know where you're gonna end up or land, but the most important thing is to start. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, and that first step is usually the scariest. But having a community around you to walk with you and ask for guidance is very comforting for me. So that's what I recommend, definitely.
Well, guys, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish up, Chris. I apologize.
I was just going to repeat, it doesn't matter where you start. The important thing is that you start.
I guess I want to give big kudos to Chris. I'm really impressed. I know he knows what he's doing, but seeing him going out of his comfort zone and getting out of to the risk level that we are into, it's just kudos. I'm proud of him for everything he's doing in this house. And I said the recess light. He loves the recess light. So if you wanna get him busy with that, you can. And also hanging chandeliers. I'm just kidding, no. But yeah, I wanna tell you I'm really proud of you, and keep pushing through. We got this. Good.
Well, guys, this has been a fantastic property tour. We appreciate you so much. We'd love to catch up with you on the next project. And again, thank you for sharing with everybody. We hope to see everybody out on our next property tour. Just as a heads up, next Saturday, we will be all attending, and you have the ability, if you're online as a guest, you can as well. We'll be attending a training online next Saturday. So we won't be on a property tour next Saturday, but then the next Saturday after that, we'll be out west and in the Salt Lake City area. And so we'd love to have you come back again. And Chris, Micaela, thank you very much. And we'll see you guys very soon.
Next time.
See you next time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.